this week, or was it Mike who kind of gave you the news?
I got a text from Robert, and then Matt Cavanaugh called. I think he called both me and Mike last night and let us know. So.
And what was your reaction?
Well, of course. I mean, listen, I want to play in this league, and I think anytime you're able to go out there and get on the field, you're excited about it. At the same time, Mike's a good friend, and I thought he played really well when he was in there, and it's part of this league that you go through struggles. So I think you can see the personal and relationship part of it as well.
What was your reaction when you got the call or text?
I was just kind
Surprised?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm surprised about anything in this league anymore. So obviously, I had to get in there at the end of the game last week, and you never know what's going to happen. So obviously, when Matt called me, I was thinking, okay, what's up here? I was just kind of at home and told my wife, and that was that.
I don't know how much you've dug into Miami yet, but the game they had against Baltimore was pretty impressive in terms of blitzes and the safety blitzes. What stands out to you when you're studying their defense?
Well, listen, I mean, it wasn't like they were lining up crazy and bringing guys from, they're showing over here and bringing it over here, and then they're doing the opposite. It looks like the last couple of weeks, and I mean, I can go back to when we played them last year in Miami, and I was playing in that game. They're not afraid to put everybody at the line of scrimmage and leave what I'm sure they feel like is the strength of their defense, their secondary, out on islands, and know that they're going to get some pressure on the quarterback, and the guy's going to have to get the ball out of his hands quickly. So it limits your offense to a certain extent, and it forces you to kind of make a guy miss or get the ball out of your hands quick, and make sure you're on top of everything, all the little details in your offense. So I just I think it's one of those things that in football, the positive plays usually go to the aggressor, and I think they've been able to put themselves in that position for a few weeks now.
Joe, a big question here in the offseason was why the Jets didn't have someone like you here behind Zach, like why they didn't bring in a veteran to back him up. And Robert kind of said before, well, it takes two to people that want to be here, and if Joe, he actually said it, I said if Joe wanted to be here, he would have been here. What was that decision-making process like where you decided to go to the Eagles instead of here in the offseason?
I think we talked about it a little bit before. I mean, when I was getting ready to make my decision, none of that had even happened yet. Sam was still on the team, and it's just one of those things where you want to keep yourself an opportunity to get on the field at some point, and you can choose to wait around and see what happens, or you can choose to jump on something and make the most of that. And I think there's obviously a lot of benefits of going to Philadelphia, being that I was at home and it kept my family, stationary and all those things. Not that this would have displaced it that much, but it wasn't even about that. It was just like, okay, like what's going to happen with Sam? Okay, if they do move on to him, what does that mean? There's a lot that goes into that, and the decisions have to be made in a short period of time, and you weigh the positives and the negatives of each thing. And I mean, I don't even really think it ever got to the point in the offseason where it was like, hey, Joe, yeah, we want you. Here's a deal. You know what I mean? Like it was Philly came up with a deal, and I was like, all right, I want to play another year, so let's go.
How much do you relish this opportunity? And did you wonder if it was going to come again after Mike played so well that first game and then into that second one?
Yeah, man, listen, I mean, you can't take this game for granted. I'm 14 years in now, and, I want to play now more than ever. And, yeah, I mean, when you're a backup and then when you get traded, and there's all kinds of things that are running through your head. You want to go out there and you want to play. Not only that, you need to prove to yourself again that you can play. And all those things, like a lot of emotions come up. And if you get in your head, then a lot of bad thoughts can come up, especially when you're sitting in a hotel room up here by yourself, and you're thinking, all right, what's going to happen? So I think you got to block that out as much as possible, and whatever your role is in the moment, you dive in completely with that, and you make the most of it. And I know I dodged the question a lot about being a mentor to this person and being a mentor to that person. But listen, I'm the kind of guy that, yeah, like, I might not be perfectly happy with every single role that I'm ever going to be given, but at the same time, like, I understand the aspect of, like, this is a game, this is the NFL, it is what it is, and I'm going to be the guy that makes the most of every position that I'm put in. Obviously, this is the best position, and this is the one you want to be in most, so I'm going to focus on that and do the best I can.
Have you thought at all, Joe, about the future? Like, is there a time after the offseason where, I know when players get a little bit older, when their quarterbacks get a little bit older, they take, like, all right, take a couple months and figure out if I want to keep playing. Have you decided already, like, is this something you want to keep doing for the next few years, is continuing to play?
Yeah, I want to keep doing it. I mean, I'm the kind of guy that, you know, you're going to need to kick me out. You know, obviously everybody has an ego, but I want to play this game. I love this game. I've been playing it for a really long time. And, you know, I think people have, you know, if given the opportunity, have the right to keep playing as long as they can. And you know, I that's what I'm going to do. I still have a desire to play, and, you know, obviously you take it day by day when you're in the moment, but I definitely want to play this game for a
Joe,
long
have you ever
time.
been on a team with this many young players, and what's that like?
I mean, I guess not, you know. You know, you think back to when you're young, like, oh, yeah, of course, I was young. But, you know, you had Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and Terrell Suggs and all kinds of other guys on that team. I mean, I think there was a lot of young guys in Philadelphia, but at the same time, they had, like, a core group of guys that have been there for a long time and, like, knew how to play in this league. So this is, in a lot of ways, I'm sure it probably is the youngest team I've been on. And not only that, but it's young guys that haven't been able to experience a ton of success. And you want to get that ball rolling in the right direction as quick as possible, because, like I alluded to earlier, no matter what point of your career you're in, you always want to get out there and prove it to yourself and prove it to your teammates and do all those things. And the only way to do that is have a little bit of success, and then you can build on top of that. So we need to start getting to the point where we're building on top of something.
So along those lines, Joe, like, I had a conversation with a veteran a few years ago here who said, there's a feeling here when things start going wrong of, here we go again.
Right.
It's been so long. You were here last year for that whole stretch. Is that a problem here of like that what you just mentioned, is it just has been a lack of success?
I don't sense that. You know, I sense a pretty good locker room, to be honest with you. But I think no matter what you've gone through in the past, I think anytime you're losing football games, especially in today's world with the expectations and all that, I think there's always a trap. You know, there's always the possibility of something like that happening. This game, you know, it's the little things. You know, it's the little details, and confidence is a big part of that. Guys believing that they can go do it. And, you know, you can bring all the false confidence you want and try to pump yourself up, but it comes down to going out there and playing well with consistency. And, you know, the good thing about that is the only people that are control that are in this building. So, you know, we can control, you know, how we approach our meetings, how we approach practices, so that everything leading up to Sunday gets us in that right frame of mind. And then it's up to us on Sunday to take that to the field and carry it week to week.
Joe, obviously you're getting this start today. You don't know, we don't know how many more starts there'll be once that gets healthy, and then, you know, obviously for agency and company, go somewhere else, you start for whatever it is, but you know you have like this game on Sunday. Will you go at it and approach it a little bit differently than some other games you've had, where it's like, you know, let's just go have some fun, let's take some shots, let's go deep, let's do this, let's take a little more, like, you know what I mean, like really have some fun, not knowing how many more of these you'll have?
I think there's a fine line between that. Like, in one respect, no, you stick to the basics in these moments, and you trust that your plan and the simple things are going to be what carry you to play a good, consistent game through 60 minutes. As soon as you get out there and you just start winging it and try to make your own thing happen, yeah, it might work one time, but you might have put your team in a hole for no reason. On the other side of that, I am super grateful to be in the position that I'm in. So I have to look at it as, you know, like using all my past experience and now to be put in this position after not playing for a bunch of games, you do look at it like, wow, like how lucky am I, or, you know, to be in this position. You know, that's the way I'm going to look at it and approach it, like, go out there and play, you know, go out there and play ball, just do what you do. So, yeah, I think there is that mindset to a certain extent, but not when it comes to the individual play and trying to do your own thing.
Joe, the COVID protocols call for unvaccinated players to wear masks in a press conference in a setting like this. Could you say whether you're vaccinated or not?
Yeah, I'm not vaccinated.
Okay. And just your reasoning for that?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I feel like I definitely have my reasons. I honestly probably like to talk about this topic more than anybody. It's one of those things that you debate with all the time, but I've overall felt like it's more of a distraction than anything. So I feel like to kind of talk about it too much and give you all my beliefs is more of a distraction than anything. I think the most important thing is going and play the football game.
Did you watch the Rodgers situation with a little bit more interest than most because you're not vaccinated?
Not really. I mean, you understand, we all know what the rules are, you know, so when those things happen, we've all been told what the protocols are and we're all following the protocols, and we know that when something happens, that's what it is. And whether you believe it or not, it is what it is. So you have to, you know, if you want to go out there and play the game you love, you got to do what you have to do.
We're good.
All right, thanks, guys.
Is that everybody? Any more?
That's it.
Okay.